Life is full of pain, tragedy, and it seems like God is absent when the pain is the greatest. David wrote Psalm 13 as a result of feeling overwhelmed by a long succession of calamities and afflictions. David was at the end of the rope. He did not know what he would do anymore. Feeling completely abandoned by God, he cries out, verses 1 and 2. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle my thoughts and every day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemies triumph over me? David is filled with frustration, anger, even rage against God. His words are a strong protest against God. There is a raw emotion here. You can almost picture David on his knees with tears streaming down his face, shaking his fists at God, challenging God's very character. David is saying, God, you promised that you would never forget your people. Prove it. As far as I can see, I'm forgotten. In the first two verses, David is challenging God's character. He's demanding answers to his questions. How much longer will there be horrible injustice? These words accuse God of being distant and disinterested in the life of his servant David. These are strong accusations, but these accusations are intended to motivate God to action. Furthermore, these accusations demonstrate the pain and the doubt which David feels. In Psalm 13, verse 4, David cries out, demanding a response. Look on me and answer, O Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. My enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. He's saying, God, not only is your character on the line, I am on the line. David is speaking of a very real danger. For him, it is twofold danger. One, there is a very real physical danger pressing in on David, the danger of his enemies. But two, that physical danger also has a spiritual element. If God allows a physical defeat, David will see that both physical defeat and a spiritual defeat because the physical defeat will indicate that God has abandoned him. Then David would spiritually be lost. Yet, in spite of the dire circumstances, David's tone shifts in verse 5 and 6. He suddenly resolves to praise God. At this point, David acknowledges, yes, I'm surrounded by calamities, but I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord, for he has been good to me. These two verses are a stark contrast to the rest of the psalm. Where does that statement come from after raising harsh accusations against God? This statement comes from David's long lasting relationship with God, which is rooted in Lord's goodness. Throughout the years, God has provided for David more than he could ever imagine. For this very reason, he knows that God will not let him down. Although the situations around you look grim, know the true character of God, dear child of God. If David knew that God will pull him out through the situation, you too can be confident that he will pull you out too. Be blessed.